In today's video, I'm going to share with you ways that you can define what you want and how to break it down to execute for 2025. Let's go. Guys, hi, my name is Jenny Penton, founder of Planet Perfect, and in today's video, it's all about reaping and sowing, seed time and harvest. How can we use God's principles to be able to receive God's best? I believe one of the best things that we can do to receive God's blessings and best is being able to understand God's laws. And one of them is the law of reaping and sowing. And one of the things that I always really talk about is the fact that you really need to be able to define what you want, because if you don't have a target that you're aiming at, you'll never be able to hit it. If you don't even know what you want, you won't even have a target. One of the things that you have to understand is that when we sow a seed, what we're doing is we're writing down what we want. And when we do that, either through an imaginary process or through scripting it all out, which is one of the greatest ways to be able to get a vision, and that is while you're scripting, because of how much of the descriptive you are, and the focus of it in itself lights up that part of the brain, giving it such vision that your mind doesn't know if it's already done it or if it's, something that you are thinking about for the future. And so whatever your mind can take hold of, which with excitement, with such intention like that, intent, and just such that intention type of focus, your mind then will execute that and move you in the right ways to be able to obtain that. So that is what we're going to be talking about today. I'm actually going to flip you around and I'm going to show you how I've done it and how you can even put it in your notebook so that you can write down. What I like to do is I like to write down the harvest. And that's how you're defining what you want. And then you're going to break it down in a sow column of really breaking down what you want to the point where you're able to see how that's going to lay out and how that's going to work. And then once you've got that done, then each month you're going to break down those goals. And I'm still in the middle of them for 2025. Break down those goals into monthly. And then from your monthly, you go weekly. So that is how you're going to be doing that. That is how you actually execute the things that you want to do. How you can start to make something like a pipe dream kind of a feel to something that you actually are putting into place and implementing tools so that you can follow the steps and the action steps to actually get there. So without further ado, I'm going to turn you around and I'm going to show you what you can do to help execute and succeed at all of your dreams and goals through the God's principles of reaping and sowing. You guys, let's go ahead and talk about how you are going to do the God's law of reaping and sowing, and how you're going to obtain the harvest, and what's one way that you can do this. One of the ways that you must know how to do is to know what you want and to define it. A lot of women don't. They just write down what they want to do, like what they have to do. They write down what needs to be done. And then they put it in a to-do list fashion, and then life escapes them. And they really haven't grown as they could because they haven't challenged themselves with certain big dreams and goals that God's planted in their hearts. So I'm going to show you just how to do that so that you can get a head start on the new year and actually get things done. This is Luna in A5. It's Everyday Organized. This is my business planner. And then over here, I've got my Everyday Carry that has all of my stuff. So let's start with where I'm starting. And that's over in this one. Now, this one is not only my business planner, but it's also kind of my dreamer. So I'll do my morning pages in this and everything else. So I don't have it decked out just yet.
But what I wanted to show you is that I'm putting, I just love how the white goes with the white. I love how this really looks with the white daisy and the white here. And what would be really cute is even just pulling, I think I have, all my Christmas ones are here, but man, to put one of my cute Christmas stickers in here is going to be perfect. You know, I'm going to put that in there. And then what I'm going to do is to deck this out with my tip-ins is I'm going to take my other calendar that I have in here and I'm going to put it, take one of these, there's the other. Let's put this. Look at how cute. I'm going to lift it up. There we go. Cute, cute, cute. And then I'm going to stick some tip-ins. I'm really liking my Santa kind of peering over the edge. This was from this box. Look at my Santa that I painted last year. As last year's Santa looks really cute peeping out, doesn't it? So now I'm decked out. So these I've been using, these daisy books, these daisy bound books, they are in my store right now. Check it out. Even the front and the back of the book go together because it's my daisy as a whole that we wrapped around the book. But I used this every single day practically, either doing morning pages and scripting out what I wanted for Planner Perfect. And it was a daily, sometimes it was a daily tasks that I would flood over here, and sometimes it was just, you know, 2025, just really expanding what I wanted to do, that kind of a thing. Now, so I've started up a new one. This is a fresh one for this year. This is going to be, these are going to always stay in the store, and they're going to come in my 4 colors, which is yellow, pink, orange, and teal. So those are always going to stay in. These are phenomenal to work in, and the paper's dreamy. So let's get right to it. This is where I was really using these pages for reaping and sowing. And so what you got to do is, let's see how this really got broke down for me. Just making sure that this is where I just kept kind of going down. This is also where I just break everything down, and then I will put it into my planner, into that month, and then into my weeks, and then into my days. So reaping and sowing, you want to know what you want to reap. You want to know what your harvest is. So I really want to keep this kind of private and, you know, here, but I will say that you can headline it like this, put 2025 right there, and write down all of the things that you want to, what your desires of your heart are. That's one of the ways that God plants those in you. Those are your desires. That means if you can envision it, and if you've got the desire, God can do it, and he'll do it through you. So you've got to believe that he can through you, and you've got to be able to believe, and you've got to be able to move resistance, such as I can't, it's a pipe dream, and I'm no good. You got to be able to believe what God says about you in order for this to work. So dream really big, write down all of the desires of your heart. You can add to this, you can cross off, and you can do it daily, you can do it over and over. You can look at the same thing you wrote, but there's something also about writing and scripting, which is what I teach, that really helps get it into that subconscious mind as something that is for real, for real. Like this is something that you want, you know you have, like you dream it up like it's already as good as good. Because this is where things happen, not just in what you see. It begins in the mind. What you can see in the mind, it becomes a thought and becomes a vision. That is how it manifests into earth. So it always starts in the mind. So without a vision, my people perish. We need a vision and also a knowing and an understanding of what God wants for you. Now, if Jeremiah 29:11 says that, for I know the plans that I have for you, plans to prosper you and to give you an expected end. Okay, so if he has a plan for your life, do you know what it is? This is so important, and it's one of the things that I've really focused on, is that the fact that I don't want to know scripture and then just not believe in it and never put it to work. The Bible is a living, breathing toolkit so that you know how to execute God's plans, okay? I'm here to help. And what we're going to do is we need to know what God says about us. We need to know our identity. And really, because God's in us, we are made perfect. We are beautifully and wonderfully made, and we are made perfect. Our journey is to understand that and come back home. And when we come back to that understanding and that identity, and we start to operate from that place, then things actually start to work for us instead of against us. Our journey is to come back and remember that, you know what, I'm God's child. And I'm going to remember who I am. It's like, you know how you feel really special, like your parents make you feel really special for the most part. They make you feel like you are a dreamboat. I know I do that to my children, my grandchildren. It's like, do you know how special you are? Just for example, I've done this to all my children, but since I've got littles for grandchildren right now, I just went to go see, it was Grandparents' Day for my 2 grandsons. And they were in a play, and only the Grammys went, the Grammy and Grampies, right? And I was there. My husband couldn't make it. He was hunting. And I went, and my Wesley, out of a sea of babies, he's a preschooler, a sea of babies, and Waylon too, sea of children. I saw him from a mile away, like a chosen one. I was waving. He couldn't see me. He couldn't see me, girls. But there were only a few other people waving even, but it was loud, and there was distractions, and there was a ton of people, and there was a lot of Gwammies and Grampies, but Wesley didn't see me, and I wasn't even that far away, and I was waving, and I was waving, and I was waving, and he didn't see me. But I tell you what, when he started to walk down the aisle, I started to wave again. My hand was literally so close to his face. And I tell you what, I yelled his name. I didn't care who heard me or whatnot, but I said, Wesley! And I just screamed it out loud just because I love him and I'm proud of him and he's amazing. And I look at him as though he could do nothing wrong. Like, it didn't matter what he would ever do. It would never change the way I feel about him. It would never make me think differently because I know who he is. He's Wesley and he's mine and I love him. And I did the same thing with Waylon. I'd wave, he didn't see. I'd wave, he didn't see. But does he know how much I love him? Does he understand that though? Waylon, I'm here. I'm watching you. I'm always here. I'll always be here. Think about that kind of analogy all in and itself. So my whole point with this story is basically to tell you and share with you just how important it is that you know who you are. And when you know how loved you are, how perfect you are, just the way that you are, and he wants you to grow in him, and if you allow him to. So let him dream through you, let him use you as a vessel, and when you do that, you grow in him. You become sanctified. All of your imperfections become perfect. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not saying that you're just some perfect being. It's just that God is in you and you're perfect. You're made perfect. And when you understand you're a new creature in Christ, now you begin to emulate him. You become more like him. When you know your identity, you become who you hang around. You become more like Christ. The more you understand your identity, you begin to merge in with him. And now that's a vessel that is just so flawless and easy to be used by him. Let him use you. He has a plan for you. He has a purpose, and it's for you to find that out, not just squander it, not to be used. And, you don't want to be like the grandbabies who he's yelling your name, he's trying to get your attention, but you can't see it because of all the distractions. You can't hear it because of all the noise, and you just don't get it. But man, when I caught them, when they saw my eyes, when I got their attention, they lit up like a Christmas tree. They lit up like a Christmas tree. It's like, there she is, and she loves me. That is what God's doing to you. That's why the whole way he made things to emulate the whole family unit, the mothers and fathers, the roles that they play, grandmothers, grandfathers, the role that they play and the love that they give. It's that family unit to emulate how Christ feels about us and how God feels about us. And that's how much he loves you. Like I always say to all my kids, my grandkids, guess how much I love you? Infinity, Grammy. Infinity and beyond, okay? Infinity and beyond. I could literally tear up just talking about my children and my grandchildren because I can't believe my love for them. And I don't know if you guys know my story about how I used to, with Abby, I would cry pregnant with Taylor because I didn't think I could love him as much as I loved Abby. Like I thought my capacity for love was completely cooked. Like there was no more love in the account. Like I would cry to my husband. He's like, Jenny, please, let's think rationally. I'm like, I am. I was like, I don't know. I'm already worried. What if I don't love him? I just thought there could be no more room. And turns out I've had 8 kids, now grandkids, and I have way more room than this, and that I can love for eternity and beyond. Okay? Turns out. So get your list going. Let God work through you. If you don't know what you want, let's get in a state of quiet in the mornings and let God dream through you. Sit there and be quiet for a minute. Don't get on your phone. Don't do anything. Be quiet. Let God work through you. Just start jotting things down. Write it out, script it out. Well, maybe even write out like, well, I don't know what I want to do, but I do love this. Start writing things out and let God kind of flow through your fingers. Okay, just start writing some things, being quiet. Don't do anything but just listen and hear, and do it every morning, and let it be your daily meditative practice to be alone with God. Okay, and that's how he's going to reveal to you his plan, and it's going to be step by step, and things could change. And as you're going ahead and executing these things, you then are going to, what I did next is I'm going over into my 12th month. Like, okay, what do I want to do in October? What do I want to do? How can I pull from that over here and put it over into November? How can I pull some over to December for next year? It's all of this where you're kind of like, okay, you know what? I think I'm going to do it over in this month. And here I wanted to show you this. When you go over to the sewing, now remember, you've got to sew. Do you know how you sew? You sew by getting really detailed in what you want and how you want to execute it. And you're going to water that seed by taking little steps to go after it. You're going to sew. You're going to sow into your dream. And then you're going to reap a harvest. Okay, so here what I did. Well, I did it in several locations, but my newest ones, because you can rewrite them and write them and get new, whatever. New ideas, new whatever. Now, you get what I went over to here to do is I broke it all down. I'm like, let's start from number 1. And I did a little bullet point, and that's talking about one of the dreams and breaking it down. So it's like you're going to break down all of that you're sewing, how you're going to sew it. So if you let's just go down to any kind of goal that you have where you want to get a wrangle on your health and you want to get fit. Okay, so that was one of mine. So what are you going to do? Are you going to walk? Are you going to do this? And then you have to keep true to your word. I did a really great video talking about how you don't want to listen to that voice because you don't want to listen to the deceiver. You want to actually execute what you're going to say that you're going to do, and you're going to fulfill the plan of God. This isn't for the weak. Okay, so put on the full armor so that you can stand strong when those voices come in saying you can't do it and you're too tired. So you're going to want to make sure you get your breastplate of righteousness, go through the whole armor, put it all on, not once, take it off, go to bed, never do it again. Every single day, know it's going to be a battle. So just don't think that, wow, okay, well, I wrote it all out. Well, that's a piece of cake. No, it's not, because you actually have to follow through. So now your mind's on board. You got your mind ready. Your mind's ready. It's primed. It's pumped. It's primed. It's ready to go. You actually have to follow through now. You actually have to take those steps. Do a little bit at a time. Don't act. Now, I've done this before where I'm just one of them that like to go all in. And so like, let's just go all in and then have burnout. I have learned now, let's be reasonable, but take these new steps that actually take you out of your comfort zone. And these dreams should definitely do that, such as even taking a walk or going to the gym or starting. One of the biggest ways people can procrastinate is that they don't know enough about how to go about something. Well, one of the things that you can do as a first step, for example, is to figure out how you're going to execute it. So if you don't know how to go into the gym and you don't know which gym and you don't know how to lift weights, then you got to figure that out first. So that's your first step. So make those action steps and decide which month it goes in. And then as you go into your days, you put it into your weeks, and then you're going to put it into your days. Like today's the day. I'm going to the gym. I'm getting up at 6. Make sure I get 8 hours of sleep. That means I go to bed early. Your health is everything. If you don't have your health, you have absolutely nothing. I'm doing another video about this just because it's so important that some women, they just suffer from so many different things. And when you suffer from, with your health, you can't plan, you can't dream, because women have, instead of an identity in Christ, now their identity is ADHD. I can't even tell you how many videos I see about women where their whole lives and their identity is surrounded around ADHD. I don't think God gave that's what he said. That's who you are. Yes, you're ADHD. Yep. Yep. Let's get away from that mentality and identifying with the devil. That's right where he wants you, a defect model, right? Just a defect. You have ADHD, so you can't possibly do this or that, and you've got to use like hacks to try to get your brain to calm down and blah, 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 blah. Don't buy it. Don't buy it. Just like you shouldn't buy majority of the things you hear about or see about and what other people are talking about. You need to know who your identity is. Begin to create your list, okay? Begin to create your list. Get it early before we get, and then we're going to do it again. We're going to talk about it again in the first of the year. But I want you to get you acclimated to be able to knowing what you want to reap, and then how you're going to sow it, and then you're going to water it, and you're going to start now. Now you got a kickstart on the new year. Okay? If you have any questions, let me know down below. Make sure you're in Planet Perfect Fans, because I go live every week and you can ask me questions and I can help you get unstuck, help you get a kickstart for the new year. So make sure you do join me there in Fans. Follow me on Instagram. I'm going to start doing some more lives over there. And of course, like and subscribe if you haven't already here to get more content just like this on how to write a better story. Until next time.